All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It says we are live. Again, this is a sort of a test because I don't do these live streams that often in the car. So far, it's worked out pretty well, but we'll see if it skipped around or not. Anyway, update. Good news. Sweet lady was not peer pressured into the jab, but she's really upset right now for a good reason. She was talking about this situation tonight in tears, and again, she really doesn't want to get it, but at the same time, she's just been so committed to this goal that she's so close to achieving, and now there's this jab obstacle. And she has quite the story again for how she got to the States. So on one hand, she looks at it like, well, this is such a small thing to have to overcome, but she sees, because she understands, she realizes that she's essentially becoming a guinea pig and succumbing to an evil agenda. And I'm telling her that's why she shouldn't do it. I said, I told her, I'm going to support you no matter what you decide, because, you've had this dream longer than you've known me. But I said, again, I think eventually you'll achieve your goal, even if there has to be some delay in the path. And I said, and then you don't have to be a guinea pig. Her response is that that she just sees that society's going to clamp down more and more things will require you to have the vaccine. So unless you want to be landlocked on your own property, growing your own food for the rest of your life and doing nothing else, you're probably going to need to get the vaccine. And I mean, there's an element of truth to that and the way things are going. But still, like I said, yeah, it doesn't sound good either. But again, it's like, if you realize the agenda's evil, you should not succumb to evil. People will try to rationalize things in her head, though. She's like, well, I'm not evil, and I don't want to do this. I'm just doing this because this is what they're making me do, because I want to finish my goal. And again, I mean, if that's what she ultimately decides, I mean, I hope that's not what she decides, but I mean, if that's what she ends up deciding, I mean, it's her decision to make. And to me, there is a right and a wrong decision. But, yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you love somebody and care somebody, you got to let them make their own decisions, but you got to try to guide them on the right path. And I think she knows what the right path is. I think she's just like probably a lot of people in her situation, even if they don't want to do it, that they got this big priority in life. They don't want to be stopped from that. I mean, I understand what it is to be determined. I mean, that's one of the things I like about Sweet Lady. She's a hard worker with determination, and now it's just like she's being given this very difficult decision. And I said, think about it. You just lectured your stepsister. I mean, she's going to say, well, the circumstances are different. Her work wasn't making her, and she just rushed out and did it. I said, but at the same time, the whole thing about not enough research, needs to be more data, could be dangerous. You don't want to be a guinea pig. I mean, you can't forget about all that. So anyway, I would just say for all the people out there that are in the same type of situation as Sweet Lady, there really is a right and wrong decision to make. And I mean, ultimately, it is up to you. But again, if more and more people succumb, then there's less and less possible resistance against tyranny. And realize that's essentially what you're submitting to is tyranny. So... And I'm telling Sweet Lady the same thing in the same words. And she's worried that if she gets it, I'll resent her. I won't resent her. I'll be disappointed about the decision. I mean, it'll be the second time there's been a big disappointment. The other one was when she freaked out and wanted to go get tested, and they jammed this thing way up in her head, and I was just like, it just looked awful. And they had to do it 2 times, and I was just like, jeez. Yeah, but again, it's just, yeah, it's just, it is the worst of times because we as a people have allowed it to get this far. And yeah, I mean, just everybody shares blame. I mean, I don't think anybody's done enough to stand up to the tyranny. Yeah, and it's just frustrating for me. I mean, if my own Sweet Lady gets the jab, I mean, what does that say? It's just like, so. Yeah, it's just, it's the most disappointing of times, True Seeker. And you know, again, that's the one thing I gotta say about Sweet Lady and I. Again, we have a lot of things in common, and then there's part of us that are exact opposites. But it seems like a good balance because we're on the same page about enough things. But then the things where we differ, I mean, they come into situations like this. It's not even that we differ that much on the vaccine. It's just she just wants to achieve her goal and take the risk. Essentially, she sees it's a gamble, and she's like, "Well, I almost just want to take the gamble." And it's like, well, just. Okay, I don't know if that's a smart. She's a really smart person, but it's just her goal. Her goal has. She's been so driven to this goal. It's just wrong that people have to make choices like this. And but that's what evil is, man. And evil figures out a way to make more and more people compromise to its plan. And yeah, I just like lately for me, just finding out, you know, that my sister did it, which doesn't surprise me, but makes me sad too. There's no talking to my sister. She's so hard-headed. And then all of her children, too. I mean, they're like the closest thing I have to immediate children. You know, I helped them out a lot when they were babies. Changed the diapers, fed them, took care of them. And it's like, at this point, you just want to think. Because, again, I'll say this, too. I really do think. I think some people are drawing the short straw with these vaccines. And you never know who that's going to be. But I also think more than anything right now, what they're doing is they're conditioning us to give up sovereignty over our bodies. And somebody will say, well, it's always been this way. We've had to get vaccines, which is true. I mean, what's going on now is really an extension. So that in a way, there's nothing new going on right now. It's just extra forced and extra over the top. But it's a continuation of something that's been in the works for longer than most of us have been alive. Since pretty much post-World War II. And, I lost my train of thought, but, yeah, I mean, what's happening to us, it's because generations of people have not taken the stand that needs to be taken in, and for all the people who are in a position to go out and do more than they're already doing right now, to try and wake up people, you know, I mean, the time is now. So, well, what would have happened if a million people on a million corners in the nation had gone out for 50-some straight days like I did in their town and try to get out information about coronavirus? Maybe then, with enough people, you know, making a fuss, maybe that would have created the buzz. I mean, that's just why the time is now. If that there's still time for that to happen. A million people go out, hit the corner. Just everybody's got to make as much noise as possible. It's like that scene in Network where he says, "I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore," and everybody just starts screaming on their block, and then people realize, like, wow, there's a lot of people around me that feel the same way. So, I mean, if it doesn't happen, it's just like, I don't know, man. I think more and more people are going to get taken by the agenda because they feel like they're a person on an island, and yeah, so anyway, the good news is Sweet Lady wasn't peer pressured today into getting it. She still has at least a week, and right now, from what we said, it's like next week. She doesn't plan to get it. She plans to go in and really make the case for why she doesn't think she should have to get it. And there's a lot of... She's just going to try to make a logical argument since the boss there likes her. But, again, I mean, headlines right now, just headlines about how they don't think the vaccines are going to hold up against the new variants. So, I mean, that right there, that should just tell people, like, okay, what's the point of getting a vaccine then? And what, are we just going to have to get a new vaccine as the variants change all the time? So it's going to be like a cat and mouse. I mean, just based on what the mainstream reports, it doesn't make any sense for people to be mandating vaccines that aren't even really doing much. And now these people supposedly are protected, but they have to put their mask back on because, you know, somebody else can get them sick. I mean, none of this even makes any sense. And then for what doesn't make sense to become the law of the land and what's required in the workplace, I mean, it's a bunch of bullshit. And trust me, Sweet Lady gets all that, but yeah, for her, it's just, I've come all this way, and I'm this close to my goal, and, you know, I think I'll survive the vaccine as bad as it might be. So, you know, but again, if you participate in evil, what is that at the end of the day? So I'm going to leave it there for now, True Seeker. And hopefully the stream wasn't too choppy. I'm gonna watch. I don't normally watch my videos afterwards. I'm gonna watch this to see if it was real choppy or if it worked just fine. So if it does, I might start doing more car live streams, because I feel like doing some more pavement pounding in the big city, but figuring out how to get it so that the streams stay up and they don't get sabotaged. So anyway, live streams between here and there will help pass the time, but we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Until next time.